Thanks very much for staying with us. Time now for Eye on Africa with me, Georgia Calvin-Smith. Tonight, the Libyan strongman whose forces have been trying to wrest control of Tripoli and the UN-backed government base there says that it's the people's will that he lead. Khalifa Haftar claims that he has a mandate. His rivals say he's launching a coup. And in South Africa, the rigors of the lockdown have made it difficult for poorer communities to get by. A side effect of some of the unrest is putting extra pressure on businesses already finding it hard. And we hear from artists in Senegal who are creating spectacular murals to remind those who still have to head out and about of the small but crucial things we can all do to contain the spread of COVID-19. But first, Libya's UN-backed government has accused military strongman Khalifa Haftar of trying to stage another coup after his announcement this week that it was the people's will that he lead the turbulent country. Haftar made the claims in a TV address. He controls large parts of eastern Libya, and his forces have been trying to take Tripoli by force since last April. Nicolas Chemin tells us more.
Khalifa Haftar, eastern Libya's strongman, has brushed aside the civilian authorities in his region and beyond. He says he has a popular mandate to govern the whole country.
لقد تابعنا استجابتكم لدعوتنا لكم بإعلان إسقاط الاتفاق السياسي المشبوه الذي دمر البلاد وقادها إلى منزلقات خطيرة وتفويض من ترونه أهلا لقيادة هذه المرحلة.
Libya's UN-recognized government led by Fayez al-Sarraj said in a statement that Haftar's announcement was a farce and the latest in a long series of coups d'etat. Al-Sarraj is supported by Turkey, while Haftar has the backing of Egypt, the United Arab Emirates and Russia. But on Tuesday, even Moscow disapproved of Haftar's latest move.
Мы не одобряли недавнее заявление господина Сараджа, который отказывался разговаривать с маршалом Хафтаром. И мы не одобряем заявление о том, что теперь маршал Хафтар будет единолично решать, как жить ливийскому народу. Ни то, ни другое не помогает найти устойчивый компромисс, без которого невозможно выйти из этой ситуации.
In recent weeks, Haftar's troops have lost several towns to their rivals. Analysts said that in this difficult context for him, Haftar wanted to oust any actors in favour of dialogue.
A top Ivorian opposition presidential hopeful has been sentenced to 20 years in prison on embezzlement charges. Former Premier Guillaume Soro lives in Europe and was convicted in absentia on Tuesday. Ivorian prosecutors issued a warrant for his arrest last December as he planned to return to Ivory Coast to launch his bid for the presidency. Elections are due October the 31st, and Soro's vowed to run anyway. He and his allies helped incumbent Alassane Ouattara to power following post-electoral violence in 2010 to 11. He later fell out of favour with Ouattara and stepped down. His camp accuses the presidency of political persecution. FDLR rebels have blamed the killing of 12 rangers and 5 others in Virunga National Park on Rwandan government troops. The Hutu militants have denied being behind last Friday's violence in DR Congo. It's one of the deadliest incidents to happen at the park, and bosses there claim that signs point to the FDLR's involvement. Rwandan leader Paul Kagame insists that Rwandan troops are not operating in DR Congo. With around 4,800 cases and 90 deaths, South Africa has the highest number of coronavirus cases on the continent. The known infection rate in Africa is still far below that of Europe, but the effects of the precautionary measures have been devastating nonetheless, particularly for poorer communities. In South Africa, there have been several protests against the country's lockdown, which started on March the 26th. The unrest can end up putting extra pressure on local businesses already holding on by a thread. Our correspondents report.
Since the coronavirus restrictions were brought in last month, violent demonstrations have become more common in some of Cape Town's poorer neighbourhoods. The lockdown has tipped these protesters in Mitchell's Plain over the edge. As unrest over the lockdown has escalated, shops like Ayesha's have become an easy target for looters.
They are only robbers, finish and color. They just want to gain something and they will go sell that stuff for drugs. They're not hungry because how many soup kitchens is here in this area? How many people they dish out food here?
Mitchell's Plain is home to several powerful gangs. Many residents say criminals are benefiting from the coronavirus crisis. At another looted shop just down the street, CCTV footage shows a group of men breaking in, the owners telling France 24 that at least one of them was armed. Authorities are advising shops to close and empty out their stock. This Somali vendor, who has lived in Mitchell's Plain for 7 years, is thinking about leaving until things get safer here.
The people you can rob you, every day you can rob you. People you want to make food. Here I'm trying my food, I can keep it nice place, you understand?
Despite the tensions, the government is pushing ahead with its strict lockdown and accelerating aid distribution to the most vulnerable. The Cape Townian authorities insist the rash of recent lootings is merely a series of isolated incidents.
I don't think these are food riots at all. I'm sure some people would delight in generating some panic-stricken narrative. Out of the 65 criminal actions, 45 related to liquor stores. So I don't think those constitute food riots.
The government will deploy extra military reinforcements in the coming weeks.
In Senegal, the government's ordered everyone to wear masks in public if they can't avoid heading out. It's also developing cheap and widespread testing kits to keep ahead of the spread of coronavirus, and it's doing well so far. Numbers are at around 736 confirmed infections and 9 fatalities. But it's not just the state reminding people what's at stake. Catherine Bennett from France 24's Observer's Desk tells us more.
Raising awareness with a can of spray paint. Graffiti artists in Senegal's capital, Dakar, have got to work painting murals about COVID-19 around the city, reminding residents how to stay safe. Ati Diallo and Mbota tell us more about their project.
Et la meilleure manière de se protéger, c'est au minimum de suivre les gestes barrières qui sont aujourd'hui ici peints sur le mur. Nous n'avons pas toute la chance de pouvoir lire de par l'image. On va comprendre. Et si on suit, il y a de fortes chances d'être super protégé dessus. Une guerre contre le corona. La victoire finale, ce sera quand on n'aura plus de malades et que tout le monde se porte bien.
Bonjour, c'est Mbota Khan, membre du collectif Undu Graffiti. Là, actuellement, on est sur notre 5e fresque murale réalisée depuis le début de nos sensibilisations contre le coronavirus. C'est quelque chose de sérieux, c'est quelque chose qui existe, c'est quelque chose qui tue des milliers de personnes par jour. Je fais appel à tout le monde de respecter les précautions données par le ministère de la Santé et des trucs comme ça. Bon, je fais appel à tout le monde à ce qu'on respecte les consignes qu'ils ont données pour se protéger du coronavirus. Peace.
The coronavirus pandemic may have led to the cancellation of live performances of the continent's creators, but it hasn't silenced all of their voices. In DR Congo, online gigs are picking up as musicians use the tools at hand to reach their fans. Our team in Kinshasa report.
Under normal circumstances, Eric Nice would be seen performing in one of Kinshasa's numerous music venues. But because of the pandemic, he's now promoting his latest album from his living room. His concerts are streamed live on Facebook to reach fans across the country.
C'est une manière pour nous de continuer nos activités, peu importe la situation du Covid-19. Et l'objectif vraiment final pour nous, c'est de déstresser un peu ceux qui sont à la maison, qui ont besoin de voir autre chose.
The pandemic is disrupting the lives of Congolese artists, but it's also been a source of inspiration for some.
Salut, c'est Sarah Kaloumé.
Sarah Kaloumé shot her latest music video, Confinement, in her bedroom.
J'ai voulu vous occuper car je sais qu'il y a rien à faire.
Je voulais aussi partager ma vie.
I wanted to share snippets of my daily life during lockdown.
and also encourage everyone to respect guidelines. As I say at the end of the song, COVID-19 kills, so we must protect ourselves and others.
With concerts cancelled both at home and abroad, the Congolese music industry faces potential losses of hundreds of thousands of euros. Some, however, remain optimistic, including the head of Bomaye Music, who produces popular artists including rapper Youssoufa and singer Céline Banza.
On est imputé de quelque chose et quand on est imputé de quelque chose, on devient plus fort de autre chose. On est en train de perdre sur tout ce qui est spectacle vivant, mais on est en train de gagner une nouvelle expérience qui est sur justement ce secteur digital.
Several new music streaming services have launched in DR Congo in recent months, helping Congolese artists to improve their online presence and diversify revenue.
Well, that's it for Eye on Africa. Thanks very much for joining us. Do so again if you can. Take care.